I take the trash out the same way I always do. Same knot in the bag, same squeak in the bin lid, same cold air that smells faintly of wet leaves in someone else's dryer vent. It is ordinary enough that my mind drifts, already counting the chores I still need to do before bed. Then the streetlights blink, not randomly, not one at a time like a dying bulb. All of them, together. The cul-de-sac is a shallow bowl of identical driveways and trimmed hedges, and every lamp on every corner goes dark and bright in a single rhythm that is not electrical. It is biological. It is mine. In my throat I feel my pulse, and the light follows it like a shadow. I stand with the trash bag halfway to the bin, fingers pinched in plastic, and I wait for the next beat. My heart gives it and the lamps answer. I try to slow down. I breathe deep through my nose. The lights dim slower with me, obedient, like a dog that has learned a trick it should not know. My phone buzzes in my pocket. The vibration makes my heart jump. The street lights flare like they are startled too. I pull the phone out. No notification. No missed call. The screen is black, reflecting my face like a small dark mirror. I hold it closer and see my eyes are wide, the whites too bright in the glow. I tell myself it is a power issue, a sensor issue, anything with wires and timers. I make myself move again. I drop the bag into the bin. The lid slaps shut with a dull sound that should echo off the quiet houses. It does not. The sound goes nowhere, like it is smothered on impact. I pause, listening for the normal little answers of a neighborhood at night. A distant car, a dog collar, someone closing a door. There is nothing, but it is not the usual nothing. It presses. Silence has weight when it is wrong. It pushes inward against my ears the way water does when you dive too deep. A slow squeezing that makes swallowing difficult. I yawn to pop my ears. Nothing changes. I tug my earlobes. The pressure stays. When I turn my head, the air itself seems thick, as if the sound has been extracted and the remaining space is too tight. I step away from the bin. My shoes scuff the concrete, and the scuff should be sharp and gritty. It is muted, distant, like it happens down the street and not at my feet. I look up at the nearest lamp. It blinks again, perfectly timed with a heavy thump in my chest. I back toward my driveway, eyes scanning the cul-de-sac. Houses sit with porch lights on, curtains drawn, pumpkins still on a couple of steps from last week. A bicycle tipped over in a yard as if a kid abandoned it mid-ride. Everything looks like a still photograph. I take out my keys. The little jingle should be bright. It is a soft, swallowed clink. The pressure in my ears increases when I focus on it, as if attention feeds it. The closer I get to my front door, the more I realize the quiet is not uniform. It has a direction, like a current. It is coming from the center of the cul-de-sac. I stop at the edge of my driveway and look. The circular island of grass and the small tree in the middle are lit in pulses. With each heartbeat blink, the bark texture appears and disappears, the leaves freezing in alternating frames. Something is on the curb by the island. A shoebox-sized cardboard package, clean and dried despite the damp air, sitting as neatly as if someone placed it there with both hands and then stepped away. I do not remember seeing it when I walked out. But I also cannot trust my memory right now. The pressure is making my thoughts feel packed in foam. I start toward it anyway, because curiosity is a reflex I have never learned to ignore. Halfway there, the streetlights blink and stay off for a fraction longer than they should. In that longer darkness, the silence presses harder, like it is leaning on me. When the lights come back, I see a second impossible detail. The package is not alone. There is a cassette tape on top of it, its clear plastic case catching the lamp glow. A strip of masking tape runs along the spine, and on it, in neat block handwriting, is today's date. I stop again. My heart speeds, and the lights speed with it, like the whole street is nervous with me. I tell myself it is a prank. Someone found an old tape, wrote the date as a joke, left it out like a dare. Except nobody on the street does pranks. People here complain about dog waste and HOA paint colors. They do not leave analog media on curbs. I swallow and feel the pressure push back. I force myself the rest of the way. My hands hover over the tape for a long moment, like it might be hot. When I touch it, I expect the plastic to be cold. It is warm, not sun-warmed, body-warmed. I lift the cassette case. The cardboard package underneath is unmarked. No label, no sender, no tape seams, just folded flaps tucked with obsessive precision. I set the cassette in my palm and test the weight. It is real. I can feel the tiny spools inside shift. The silence thickens, and for a split second I have the irrational certainty that it is aware of my attention, that it is gathering itself around my head like hands. I pick up the package too and carry both back to my house. Each step feels slightly delayed, like the world is waiting for permission to continue. Inside, the air is warmer, but the pressure follows me in as if it has been waiting at the threshold. I close the door. The latch clicks, and the click is wrong, muffled, distant. I lock it anyway. My living room lamp is on. It does not blink. Only the streetlights outside do that, visible through the front window as faint pulses on the curtains. I set the cardboard package on the coffee table and stare at it. My hands smell faintly of wet cardboard even though the box is dry. I need sound. I need proof that the world still answers. I turn on the television. The screen lights up. A streaming menu appears. No audio. I raise the volume. The number climbs. Still nothing. The pressure in my ears increases until my jaw aches. I open my mouth, trying to relieve it, and it feels like the air is pushing my tongue down. I grab my phone and play a random video. The progress bar moves. The image plays. No sound. My stomach tightens. I try a different tap. A music track. The waveform dances. Nothing. I slap the side of the phone like that will wake the speaker. The motion makes my heart pound. Outside, the streetlights flash brighter in response, their glow leaking through the curtains in urgent beats. I stand and go to the kitchen. I tap a spoon against the glass. The tap is there, but faint, like it comes through a wall. I do it harder. The glass vibrates in my hand. The sound barely changes. I am not deaf. I can hear my breathing, and I can hear the refrigerator hum as a low suggestion, but everything is wrapped in cotton and squeezed. I go back to the coffee table. The cassette tape sits like a dare. I do not own much that can play it. I have not touched a cassette in years, but in the bottom shelf of my media console, shoved behind old game controllers and tangled cords, is a portable tape player I bought at a thrift store on a nostalgic whim. I used it once, laughed at the hiss, and forgot it. My hands shake as I pull it out. The plastic is scuffed, the door cloudy, but it still has batteries inside. The pressure in my ears pulses now, matching my heartbeat, as if the silence is synchronized too. I sit on the couch, tape in one hand, player in the other, and I listen to nothing for a long second. Outside, the streetlights blink. I slide the cassette out of its case. The clear window shows brown magnetic tape wound neatly. No wrinkles, no age spots. It looks new. I flip it over. There is more handwriting on the label. My name. I freeze. The letters are correct. The way I write my capital E, the way I curve the Y at the end. It is my handwriting. My mouth goes dry. I press my thumb into the label as if I can smudge it and prove it is fresh ink. It does not smear. It feels slightly raised, like it was written a long time ago and dried. The streetlights pulse again, brighter, as if my heart is trying to escape my ribs. I want to put the tape back in the case and throw it away. I want to pretend I never saw it. Instead, I open the player door. The hinge squeaks, but even that squeak is smothered. The silence leans closer. I insert the cassette. It clicks into place. The click is the clearest sound I have heard since stepping outside. It makes my eyes water. I close the door and stare at the play button. My thumb hovers. The pressure in my ears builds, as if the silence knows what I am about to do and is trying to stop me. I press play. The spools begin to turn. I can see them moving behind the cloudy window. At first, there is only the expected tape hiss, but even the hiss feels thick, like breathing through a pillow. Then a sound cuts through. My front door opening, not the one in the recording. Mine. I jerk my head toward the entryway. The door is still closed, deadbolt locked. I can see the chain. It has not moved. The sound continues from the tape, distinct, clear, more real than the muffled world around me. Footsteps on my own hardwood. The specific creak by the third plank that I have meant to fix. My skin prickles. I look down at the player like it is a snake. A voice comes next, close to the microphone. It is my voice. It says my name, softly, like I am calling to myself from another room. Outside, the streetlights blink in frantic sympathy with my racing pulse, and the pressure in my ears tightens until it hurts. On the tape, my voice breathes once, then says, very clearly, as if reading a note I wrote to myself, do not look out the front window when the lights match your heart. My gaze snaps to the curtains. The pulsing glow behind them makes the fabric look alive, like something is moving in the folds. On the tape, my footsteps cross the room. I hear the couch springs compress, the exact sound of someone sitting where I am sitting now. The player is in my hands. The tape is playing. I am sitting, yet on the recording, I am also sitting. My breath turns shallow. The pressure in my ears swells with it, crushing, insistent, as if the silence is trying to force my head into my shoulders. On the tape, my voice is closer now, intimate, like lips near a microphone. I whisper. I can tell. It is the tone I use when I do not want anyone else to hear. It says, the quiet is not empty. It is full. The lights outside blink again, and the room seems to dim and brighten in sympathy through the curtains. My fingers tighten around the tape player. The plastic creaks. On the tape, there is a pause, and in that pause I hear something that makes my stomach drop. Breathing that is not mine. It is slow and deep, like someone sleeping, but too close, too wet, as if the microphone is pressed against the mouth. The pressure in my ears becomes almost unbearable, and I realize it is responding to that breath, swelling with each inhale, easing slightly with each exhale. The silence is behaving like a lung. On the tape, my voice trembles. It says, I left this for you because you will not believe me otherwise. The streetlights outside accelerate, matching the frantic gallop in my chest. On the tape, I hear my own hands fumble with something. A cardboard scrape, a soft thud onto a table. The package, the one sitting in front of me. My eyes drop to it. It is still perfectly folded, still unmarked. But now, in the living room light, I notice a seam I did not see before. A thin slit along the edge, like the cardboard has been cut and rejoined. The pressure in my ears surges, and the silence feels like it is pressing my eardrums inward with thumbs. On the tape, my voice says, it hates sound because sound proves you are still here. I swallow and taste metal. On the tape, my voice continues, faster now, as if I am running out of time. It says, when the streetlights blink with you, it is listening to your body. It is measuring you. The room feels smaller. The corners seem to lean in. The tape hiss thickens. The breathing that is not mine grows louder. I glance toward the front window again. The curtain edges tremble slightly, though there is no draft. On the tape, my voice says, do not open the box until you hear the third knock. As soon as the word knock leaves the speaker, a sound hits my real front door. Even through the pressure, it is unmistakable. A single knock, firm and patient. My whole body goes cold. The tape keeps playing. On it, I hear myself inhale sharply, the same way I just did. My eyes flick to the lock, the chain, the deadbolt. Everything is still secured. The streetlights blink once, and in that blink the living room seems to shift, like the shadows rearrange themselves behind the furniture. A second knock comes, closer somehow, as if the door is thinner than it should be. The pressure in my ears squeezes so hard my vision blurs. On the tape, my voice whispers, almost pleading, you are going to want to answer. You are going to think it is someone you know. My phone screen lights up on the coffee table, though I did not touch it. The glow is harsh in the muted room. The caller ID shows a name that makes my throat close. It is my own. The streetlights outside flare in perfect time with the hammering in my chest. The tape continues, and my recorded voice says, whenever is at the door can copy more than your voice. The phone keeps ringing with my name. The pressure in my ears builds towards something that feels like a rupture, like if I do not let some sound in, my head will split. Then, right on cue, the third knock begins. Except it does not hit the door. It comes from inside the cardboard package on my coffee table. A soft, deliberate knock from within, as if something trapped inside is tapping to be let out. The tape player in my hands clicks, and the spools slow, as if the batteries are dying. My recorded voice rushes, urgent now. It says, do not let the silence get a shape. The player warbles. The hiss stretches. The pressure in my ears suddenly releases for a fraction of a second, like a breath held too long finally exhaled. In that tiny relief, I hear something I have not heard all night. A sound from outside that is not muffled. Someone standing on my porch, breathing. The phone rings with my name. The box knocks again from inside, and the streetlights blink, waiting for my next heartbeat.